In the top right corner, we have from South Africa.
Like $1 million.
All right, I'll buy you a $5 scratch off right now. In the top right, we have from South Africa, also training in the Razor House under the tutelage of MrBitter. It is the Green Protoss player, Pandatank. And his opponent, who is up 2-0 over him from Team Quantic, currently training in Oceanside, California. One of the fastest Zerg players out there. It is Golden.
Golden with a vicious all-in on Ohana after the very nice defense and macro game on Entombed Valley, showing a wide range of playstyles in this best of 5. And on Daybreak, I think we're going to see him return to the same kind of playstyle we saw in Entombed Valley. He's going to want to sit back. He's going to want to take bases. And he's going to want to macro out of his mind, Dan, because that's just what you do on Daybreak.
You're absolutely correct. Daybreak is a map where passive play is way preferred over aggressive play just because of the long distances, the easy ability for Zerg to scout. You can pretty much see when they move out with Overlord spots in really nice positions. You can also see their tech very easily. Of course, I'm on the opposite side of the map, so just kind of flip that and you get the same idea. Pandatank, he's been... It's unfortunate just because it's two completely different builds. He just saw a side of Zerg, which was like, okay, Golden's just going to play a super passive. He's going to sit back, go to 4 bases, and I can do a 3-base timing. Then in the next game, Golden just completely switches it up and goes for a 2-base Roach Ling all-in without speed, and just caught him off guard. So now I feel like if I'm in Pandatank's shoes, I don't necessarily know how to approach Golden. Just have to scout a lot aggressively.
Yeah, a really awkward position to be in for Pandatank, certainly. Guys, we are showing some open games right now if you're just joining us. We've got a couple more open games still to come, including Symbol versus Sort of, Apocalypse versus the winner of that, Ragnarok versus the winner of that one. We'll even play our open bracket finals later this evening. And at 6 p.m. today, we'll be going into our Division 5 regularly scheduled play. Some great games in Division 5. Muslim versus Night End, QXC versus Demaga, Sin versus Finale for first place in the group, and Sheth versus Thorzane.
All very important games, especially for Sheth versus Thorzane, Ben, because we were doing some calculations. If Sheth loses by any chance, then we have a 3-way tie where him, Huangxin, and DRG might have to play a 3-way tiebreaker.
That's right.
And if Sheth loses 0-2, then all of a sudden he's not even in the wild cards, and it's kind of a shuffle. So very important match, wrapping things up. Of course, followed that is the open bracket finals. Long night of broadcasting, Ben, but I'm very happy because we get to see the big conclusion for our regular season.
Yep. MMA versus Stefano is another game from the division that is going to need to happen at some point. It's Roddy's match to look forward to. But of course, Stefano is at Lone Star Clash right now, and we're trying very hard to accommodate him in the scheduling there. We see a single Zergling crossing the map right now for Golden, just trying to get that good scout.
That's right. Controlling the watchtowers is pretty key. What do you think? Do you think StarCraft 2 would? Well, how do you think StarCraft 2 would function on the maps we have now if we didn't have watchtowers, Ben?
I think it'd be a better game, Dan.
Yeah.
I think watchtowers are kind of a silly mechanic that.
Too strong.
Well, I just feel like it rewards laziness.
Technically, I guess that's true because you get to see a lot more for than what you're resting in. Although I'm starting to believe that if you just drop tech labs all over the map, you'll see the same amount as a watchtower.
That may very well be the case, as we saw.
Of course, we see the scout on the 3rd base, but you can't trust what you see, especially if you're Pandatank, because he knows last time, how did he get so many units? He doesn't necessarily know that Golden canceled the 3rd hatchery either. That's what's like so crazy about it too. Pandatank might be like, how did he squeeze out that many units that fast? And Pandatank now is just, he has to be a little bit more diligent with his movement around the map. He has to constantly be poking Golden and seeing what he's up to.
Nobody really out on the map right now. Golden just trying to get some scouting done. We see that Pandatank is trying to go Robo once again here on Daybreak. Did Golden see the Robo? He has not yet, and I don't know if he's going to.
It's going to be very close, Ben. Overlord
yes,
does see it. Wow, Golden with 3 very sick Overlord scouts on all 3 games. The other one, of course, able to catch a Dark Templar Shrine, an Overseer scout, but it's the same thing. Now, Golden also sees gases 3 and 4, so he knows the ability of cranking out sentries is high, especially in light of Immortals coming out of the Robo. And that's going to proc him to make the appropriate tech structures in preparation, getting a Ro4.
Oh! Overlord died.
Oh, yeah? Over here?
Yep, in the back of the natural. Sentries and Stalkers managed to catch it. It's nothing, not a big deal, but nice catch by Pandatank. Pandatank going up to 5 gates. Okay, so I think we're going to see another blink all in here, Dan. We've got Twilight Council going down, 5 gates, Robo, and actually Second Forge going down. This might actually just be the same thing we saw in Entombed Valley.
He's getting a War Prism. He might attempt a Sentry drop. Although, one thing that I really like about early War Prisms is the availability of being able to pressure while scouting your opponent compared to just other pushes that kind of like rely on just being able to knock on the front door of Zerg.
Yeah, and those other pushes can sometimes even put you all in. So this is a less all-in variation of that kind of play.
Oh, he's not picking up any units at all, just going with the raw War Prism.
Yeah, you can warp in out on the map at any time. At the same time, Sentries and Stalkers making their way down to the 3rd base. I guess Pandatank wants to take a 3rd, or at least pretend to do so.
I mean, I would imagine he takes a 3rd. He delayed like any significant amount of units. If he wanted to push, he'd be cranking out Immortals, or at least dropping some kind of like heavy amount of gateways. But he's not. He's on 5 gates, so he's just going to play as really passive. Now, Golden knows that a 3rd is coming up, or at least he suspects it. He's going to send another Zergling in just to confirm. But with that, he has to also be a little bit careful, because this harassment from the War Prism can be pretty severe. Nice pickoff and discovery of the Observer, though, and that's going to limit a lot of the ability for the War Prism to just move in and out. Yep,
takes away a lot of the vision of Pandatank, so he's going to have to kind of guess where that army is. We see a lot of Roach Ling moving out for Golden. He's going to try to punish this 3rd base. At the same time, War Prism is making its way over to the back of Golden's 3rd. So we're going to see 4 Zealots and maybe even 5 more, which is a difficult amount of units to defend. Roach Ling making its way over towards the natural of Pandatank right now. Actually, Golden's just going to turn around.
Yeah,
he's going to come all the way back home.
He accidentally summoned all of his units back in response to the War Prism, but of course we all know that he wants to go for just huge aggression, force this cancel on the 3rd, or just even poke into the natural. We do see a big wall off. Oh, a small little hole in the wall. That is very unfortunate, because if you've been able to block off that ramp, and as a result would have been a much easier defense. But now Pandatank, he's caught in an awkward position. He can't really walk over to defend the natural completely, because he might expose his 3rd.
Uh-oh, and Golden's going to come forward. He's going to try to crash through the natural. Pandatank is unloading in the 3rd base of Golden. Oh, but the sentries are all going to get surrounded. Critical miscontrol by Pandatank. These Immortals are not going to be able to get it done, and Pandatank taps out. GG gets called. Golden with a very swift 3-0 victory. Sad day for Pandatank, sad day for me.
It's a small little hole too, Ben. It's just, and it's so crazy, because it's always like in those movies where like that one little leak, just all of a sudden a flood comes bursting through, and in this case, the analogy is almost spot on. Like, because that one little small hole, they couldn't stall for time, he'd be able to get in position, force field the ramp, and then the pressure would be at all the 3rd base. Instead, Pandatank, well, we all know what happened from there.
Yep. 3-0 victory for Golden, who played some solid Zerg versus Protoss, and will advance to the grand final. Has confirmed himself, or has locked in a spot in the wildcard playoffs. So Golden will be joining us in the round of playoff play prior to the round of 16. Our next map is going to be Ragnarok versus Revival, is what I'm being told. So that's going to be coming up after this short commercial break. Last match brought to you guys by GoToMyPC. Remote access to your computer from anywhere on the planet. NASL.tv/p/GoToMyPC for that software. Guys, don't go anywhere. NASL will be right back.